Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Holloway. Corey with Creative Habitats, sharing with you my ideas of how we deal with your drainage, how we create a better entertainment space for grilling and having a little bit more room for family to come out and enjoy your backyard. So this is the photograph that I did my first slide off of, and here is the culmination of those ideas. So what I've done with this is, as you come down the stairs, you step onto the patio. I've created a space over here for your grill, created a space for other, like you could do a table or chairs or something like that out here in this space, as well as have some accents of boulders that go through there. I envisioned this being slightly elevated to make sure that as water drains off, it goes on the back side of this, between your new patio and your fence, and then it goes on out towards the back of the fence here. I also wanted to have enough space between the play area and the patio so that as your grandkids come down, they're not landing on concrete through here. In terms of what your patio could be made out of, here are some choices. This is just normal concrete. It has a salt texture with lines. Here's another concept of how concrete can be made. Same thing here. Just a normal concrete patio that has lines cut in it, but it really does add to the creating a better quality look to everything. The other possibility is to do landscape pavers. We do a lot of landscape pavers. These are some choices of what can be used for that, and it shows how elegant it could be made by using contrasting colors and creating different borders and colors in there. For the dry creek bed between the patio and the fence, these are some examples of how we can make that look. And it could be done very simply, or it could be done with more plants in here. And later I'm going to show you some examples of how those plants could look. This is another perspective of the same thing. And you can see in here how you have the patio, the walkway that goes over here. You've got the dry creek bed that runs through here. And then in the planting plan that I've done for you, I've kept this very simple. These are a plant that that's called Itea. These are native azaleas. And then there's not a whole lot of other lower ground covers in there. In terms of how do the boulders work with the patio, this is a pretty good idea of how they're adjacent to the patio. In this one, you can see the patio with a little bit of room for some green space in there. And these are some of the plants that I could recommend for putting around your patio. This is native azalea. This is canna lily, iris, calla lily. But any of these are relatively durable. They don't mind having wet feet or dry, and they really beautify a space. One of the very important things that we need to do is, as I understand it, water comes down through here. Now, I want to do a trench through here, not a deep trench like this, but a very subtle trench like what you see here, so that as water comes down, it heads towards the back of the woods. And ideally, we keep it from going into the backyard. So those are my ideas on what we can do with your backyard. Give me some feedback on that, and we can talk further about what the next step is. Thank you so much, Corey with Creative Habitats.